Greetings, people. It's Jared here, Wolfgang1, back to do another Transformers review. Now, this week is a bit of a long one. It's a bit of a disaster. It's not been easy to capture any decent camera angles for the thing I want to show off because it was actually larger than I thought it was going to be. But this is something I've wanted to do for a little while. It's another Micromaster. It's another Micromaster playset, and it's one who I wasn't sure what to make of it initially when I got it, and as soon as I started fucking around with it, and we're going back many years, when I eventually got around to fucking around with it, I realised just what an amazing toy this thing was. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get straight on into this because there is actually a lot to cover, including ad hoc repair work. This is the review for Transformers Generation 1 Skystalker. Okay, so here is Skystalker in his alt mode. He transforms into a Porsche thing. I think it's supposed to be a Porsche. Yeah, you can tell from the headlights it's supposed to be a Porsche. So Skystalker is a Micromaster, and as he's a Micromaster and isn't part of a team, he comes with a little playset. Well, I say a little playset. It's a quite a decent size, actually. Not as big as Countdown, which I will review at some point once I've fixed it up and cleaned it up and restickered it or whatever, but we're not talking about it. We're talking about this. Yeah, tiny little orange Porsche. Let me just show you some of the things that Skystalker here came with. It's quite extensive. He comes with, starts off with two of these grey ramps that can connect to other Micromaster playsets and bases and sort of things like that. He comes with one large dual blaster thing which will attach to the top of a auxiliary craft, like a shuttle thing. He comes with the connector for said thingy. This thing here is probably the easiest thing out of the whole thing to lose. It doesn't fit particularly well in the one that I've got, so I just have to make the most of it. It sits there very loose. But when I was rebuilding Skystalker, it took me a little while to get hold of this one piece, because this is semi-rare or very easily lost. He comes with two of these. Now, these are little connector rods that attach. Little connector rods that attach to the auxiliary craft. So when it transforms into base mode, this acts as like a guard tower sort of thing. And these are the struts that support it. It comes with two large triple cannon, I guess, blasters, which can go pretty much anywhere you want them to, but they are designed to go under the wings of the main aircraft, main shuttle, just by attaching to that groove there into the wing. Comes with two of these smaller dual cannon blaster things. Again, these can be attached pretty much anywhere you want them to be. I mean, the playability value in terms of configuration alone is quite impressive. Right, okay, this is where it starts getting a little bit weird. Comes with this here. Let me get all the other shit out of the way, because there's a lot of shit. It comes with this little the auxiliary craft that I mentioned. That can be used as like a little shuttle, which I'll demonstrate in a minute, or it can be used as the guard tower, lookout tower, cannon tower thing on the main base. And then the final thing the Skystalker comes with is this. Okay, he comes with this decent sized shuttle thing. Turns into a shuttle, and then the other mode is like a battle platform sort of thing, if you will. I do quite like the detail on this. I'll come on to some faults with this design in just a moment, and then we'll put the whole thing together, and doesn't it look amazing? But we're going to talk about Skystalker here for just a moment. And as I said, he's a little Micromaster. The transformation for this guy, obviously being a Micromaster, is not difficult. It's a two-step process. Most of the robot under the car, just just like that. Yeah, a tiny bit of sculpted detail in the car, so it's not too bad. The hinge thing is a bit of a distraction from the hood of the vehicle, but whatever. Transforming the guy is not difficult, so you want to fold out the back of the car just like this to extend the legs, and then flip back the hood of the car, and that'll form his backpack, and then you stand him up like that, and that there is Skystalker in his robot mode. A decent little focus would be nice. Don't know if how well that's coming out. Decent little head sculpt there. You can see where the paint has just like sort of smudged a little bit, where they probably weren't as careful as they should have been with it. But do you know what? Whatever. I mean, the figure is only about 2 inches tall, so you know, whatever. But yeah, apart from that, he's decent enough. Decent enough. A unique little mold. This was the only time that his mold was ever used. At least in the Western market. I don't know about if they've recolored it for the Japanese market or anything like that, for something else. But this is the only time Skystalker's mold was used in general. Okay, so now we're going to move on to... let's move on to the shuttle. Okay. Yeah, this is actually kind of cool. I like the sort of the overall design of it. The stickers are all original stickers. They're looking a little bit sorry for themselves these days, but they're still quite sort of the detail on them is still there. I've replaced the Decepticon faction symbol just there. This section, the cockpit does open up. In fact, let me grab Skystalker again. And if you want to, what you can do, let me raise that up a little bit. There we go. What you can do is, if you want him to ride the auxiliary shuttle, then you just open up the cockpit like this. Get Skystalker into a seating position. Just like that. And then close the cockpit back up. And then he's got a little space shuttle to fly around him, which is kind of cool. You can add all these parts. Let's start by putting the connector and the dual blaster thing together. Just like that. And then port and post mechanism into the rear hole just there. Okay, so you've got that. You can also add these. I mean, you can add, if you really wanted to, I mean, you could put these underneath it, under the wing, and you could put these on top of the wing. If you wanted to, if you really wanted to go completely overboard in terms of the weaponry for this small reconnaissance shuttle thing, which I am about to do, because I'm a self-indulgent reviewer. There we are. That's that's utterly fucking ridiculous. But that's that. You could have that configuration if you wanted, or you could swap these around, or do whatever the case may be. Yeah, utterly insane. But you know what? I kind of, there's something about that. There's something so over the top about that I quite like it. So yeah, that's the little shuttle there. The shuttle, as I said, is part of the transformation for the larger base, so that will come into play in a little bit. But I just thought I'd show you that option. Okay, let's move on quickly to the shuttle itself, because I wasn't intending on having this review last 100 fucking years, right? So there we go. Here's the main shuttle. Nice green cockpit. Again, Skystalker or any other Micromaster can sit in there. So let's take Growl, or whatever his name is. I can't remember. No, he's not going to fit. Right, fuck you then. Let's take an Autobot. Let's take Tote, just here. You can sit in there, close the cockpit up, and you've got a primary pilot for the shuttle. You've got a little storage thing just back here. That will also fit a Micromaster. So I'm actually going to use Growl, or whatever his name is, for this. Just like that. You can close that up, and that's like a troop transport sort of thing, which is, you know, kind of cool. These wheels on the bottom fold in and out. They're retractable, but because for some reason they don't stay in place very well. So I mean, what tends to happen if you have this on the slightest angle at all, like that, the wheel just sort of collapses in. So it's a bit annoying. Now, the inherent design flaws with this toy, okay, are these plastic, these grey wings. Now these wings move for transformation purposes, okay, but unlike right, let's take that shuttle back again. Jesus Christ, lads. the shuttle, on its wings, the wings are also retractable on the shuttle, okay? But the wings on the shuttle have this metal pin going through them, like this hinge pin, which allows the wing to come up and the wing to come down depending on how you want the configuration, okay? The same cannot be said, sadly, for the wings on the shuttle. They're a plastic friction hinge, and there's gaps. Could you? I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, or I'm being shit or not. There's gaps in between the two plastic points there. Now the wing rests on little nubs on the blue plastic here and here, and that allows for the free range movement. You could have got the same effect, exactly the same effect, if there was a metal bar running through that. In fact, if you had a metal bar running through that, this plastic hinge thing would have been a lot stronger. Now, my one broke. I've actually got two of these. I was going to save the other one for a reveal towards the end, but basically I've got two of these, and they both suffered exactly the same damage in exactly the same fucking place on exactly the same wing. In fact, the other one suffered it on both wings, and it's where the stress of the transformation gets into these little grooves just here. So as a result, these sections break off, right? This section here breaks off, and then you've basically got a wing that won't stay in place because it's not being held together by friction on both sides. Okay, now with the other Skystalker, I had to glue the wings static like this. I had to glue them in place because these sections, fucking focus, you piece of shit cunt. Whatever. I lost these sections when they broke off, so I've had to glue the wings in place so they're static, they don't move. Okay, on this one, however, it broke on the other side, and I glued it, and it was fine, but the plastic kept breaking off again. The glue wasn't holding. So, stupidly, I held it together. I glued it all back together, and I held it in place with a toothpick, okay? Until I realised that what I've done is I've glued the toothpick to the toy. Because that's a wanker move, right? And who would expect that of me, ladies and gentlemen? Not me, that's for sure. I'm fucking great. So I've had to break off the toothpick and try and file it down, but as a result, yeah, I've still got a bit of toothpick in there. I mean, you can see where I've had to glue it, where actually the stress broke just here, right, just there. I've got this bit of toothpick now stuck in the gap. I can't move it, but the wing still works as it's supposed to. In fact, you can see just underneath here, the plastic didn't meet up when I glued it on the bottom side. So I had to put in extra glue on the bottom as a bonding sort of thing to actually bond the two parts together, even though there's a tiny little 1 millimeter gap or some shit like that. But essentially, the hinge mechanism still works. Seriously, a metal pin through there would have saved me a lot of fucking hassle. And as a result, this wing is now glued on with a slight gap just here, more so than there's supposed to be on this side. Can you see that there's a bit of a disparity there? Look at that. There's a gap. There's about a 2 millimeter gap there. Fuck all going on this side. Thankfully, the mechanism still works. Okay, now I just wanted to get all that out of the way. Just to basically show that if I need to, I can repair my toys, but at the same time, I'm absolutely fucking inept. All right, so we are going to take Skystalker out of the shuttle. Now, all this combines into a super shuttle thing, if you will. Okay, so we are going to casually start by putting on all the weapons. Let's put the guns on the wings, and the wing will sit into that groove just there. Okay. What did I do with the other wing? Not the other wing. Where's the other gun thing? There we go. So same thing on this side. Just like that. Okay. I could actually sit a little bit better into the groove, but well, there we go. Now, I guess what you're supposed to do is put these guns on the forward sections just here. You can do that. Personally, I don't much like the way that looks. I think that's probably a little bit stupid, okay? Then the space shuttle sits on top. These two sections just here and these two ports will fit very, very nicely. Oh, Jesus Christ. Will fit very, very nicely into all this, okay? So that goes on top. Just like that. And then what you've got there is... yeah, put this back on. Within fucking before I fall down dead. There we are. And then that there, ladies and gentlemen, is the complete Skystalker playset in advanced big shuttle mode. Now this shuttle kind of reminds me a little bit, the design of it kind of reminds me a little bit of the bulkiness. Does anyone remember the two shuttles they use in Michael Bay's film Armageddon, where they go up to the asteroid that's about to hit? When I saw that film in the cinema, I thought to myself, those look suspiciously like Skystalker. Obviously without the weapons. But the overall shape of it just kind of reminded me of that. Looking back on it, it probably doesn't look anything like this at all, but, you know, whatever. Now, you can have the wings for the shuttle up like this to, I don't know. Again, the playability options on this are insane. Let's take fucking Tote out there. So far, this has been a disaster of a review, ladies and gentlemen, because there's so much. The problem is there is so much to show off with this one particular model. Camera keeps going out of focus and whatever. There's Skystalker next to the shuttle itself. Very, very nice. What I tend to do in this for the shuttle configuration is I tend to put these down. I tend to take these off and stick them on top or on the underside of the wings, okay? And that's the shuttle in all its full combined glory. And this thing is a beast, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. There's something about this that I saw it and I went, do you know what? What am I, fucking 28 or something like that? I really, really want this. And I got it really cheap. I got it for something stupid like about £13.50 off eBay. And then, because it wasn't complete, I bought a second one to try and complete what I could of the first one. I still had loads of parts left over from the second one. The second one, shuttle, cost me £7.50 on eBay. So I thought, so far, this is fucking great, right? I'm getting like sort of cheap G1s, like sort of fuck all. The overall design of this shuttle is big, it's bulky, it's menacing, it's a real beast. Slightly awkward in terms of its bulk. I mean, it would struggle to get off the ground, but there is something I like about this a lot. I really can't explain what it is, but there's something about this that ticks all the right boxes for me in particular. So this has one more trick up its sleeve, and the fact that this transforms into like a attack base sort of thing. So that is exactly what we're going to do with this, okay? So let's start off by taking off the shuttle. Fuck the shuttle off somewhere else. And then we're left with this. So we're going to start by pulling out the underside of the shuttle. In fact, you know, let's start away by putting these away. Pulling out the undercarriage of the shuttle, okay, just like that, and then you're going to extend it all the way like this. Then, oh god, this is fucking awkward. Then bring out this section here for the ramp. Bring up these two sections for wing sections like this. Then what would have been the underside of the top part of the shuttle, you want to pull that out and to the side like this, okay? I hope this is making sense on camera because oh Jesus Christ. Okay, so then the underside of the shuttle, you want to pull this back out like this. You then want to take this blue section just here and you want to fold that all the way around like this. Then the cockpit section that's upside down, bring that forward and it will lock into place. And then there's a little thing just here that you want to fold down, and this, I guess, if I can bloody get it out, this acts as a, I don't know, a command platform thing. There we go. Right, have I got all that right? Yep. Okay. Then we want to take the shuttle. Jesus Christ. Thank you for sticking with this, ladies and gentlemen. We want to take the shuttle, take the gun off it. We then want to bring these down, these struts that I mentioned, split the cockpit in half, like this, flip it upside down, bring the wings up, and then those two struts all the way around, and that stops these two sections from actually connecting back together. Now these sections here will connect to either side just here. So we're going to put the guard tower on the top of it like this. This is fucking what am I supposed to do with this? And then this gun here, we'll put that just there, I guess. And there we have, ladies and gentlemen, in its basic form, the Skystalker base. Let's put a couple of guns somewhere else. Let's put one there. Let's put the other one here. And then finally, last but not least, we are going to connect the ramps, which will go, one will go here, one will go further back just here. And then you've got a little space to put Skystalker just there if you want. Yeah, this thing is incredibly detailed. You can have a little let's put a little Micromaster up there. Let's put Bomb Shock up here in the little guard tower. You can have little Micromasters under here, one there, coming up and down the ramps, and that. But the best part, ladies and gentlemen, of having two of these is under the right configuration. You can basically have two of them connected, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now, sadly, the second shuttle that I've got also suffered a break on a little connector just here. So whereas now this works, I tend not to fuck around with that too much, okay? Because I don't really want the hassle of that breaking again. So because of this platform just here, where the shuttle would have sat originally in shuttle mode, if you angle it the right way and configure it the right way, you can actually have two of these together with one of these reconnaissance shuttles on a platform. So that's what I'm going to do for you now, because I'm fucking clearly mental. So we're going to start off by having one like this. And I've always wanted to do this, ladies and gentlemen. I've always fucking wanted to do this. Here's one that I prepared earlier. yes, there we go. There we go. I am that fucking sad, right? And then what we're going to do, this is really, really awkward. What we're going to do is we're going to connect the two bases via this ramp just here, okay? So bear with me while I do that. This is possibly the messiest review I've done in a while, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. Okay. So. So there we are. That's the Micromaster based Skystalker ×2. connected via a ramp there, and a little reconnaissance shuttle can now go just here. In fact, you know what? You can bring the wings up, doesn't it? And then the wings can go down when you want it to fly off. Let's see if I can connect that with any degree of success. Because weirdly enough, it did at one stage, and no, it won't. But whatever, it can just sit on there. It doesn't really matter. It can just sit on there. And you know, you can have Micromasters all over the fucking shop if you wanted. Let's have a little one driving down off there. Let's have one on the platform just there. Let's have Universe 2.0 Nightstick fucking in a little crow's nest just there. The playability value for this alone, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely mental. I absolutely love this. I'm sorry that this review has been probably mostly off camera while I'm trying to figure out what the fuck to do with it. That this is not easy to set up, right, and then show off to any degree of success on a phone camera on a tripod, especially with the workspace that I've got to fucking work with. As you can see, it's not brilliant. That is Generation 1. That is Generation 1 Skystalker, ladies and gentlemen. This is his Micromaster attack-based thing ×2. And this is just part of the configuration that I would have if I was building a Micromaster City, which one day, oh Jesus Christ, one day I will do. I'll get out all the Micromaster stuff and like sort of base forms and everything like that, and I'll set up something which just looks insane. Just for your enjoyment. But ladies and gentlemen, that is my review for Generation 1 Skystalker. I think this is absolutely fantastic. What an amazing design. Playability value add, you know, infinity, quite frankly. It's yeah, definitely one that I'm glad I picked up, and considering the price that I paid for it all in all, or price I paid for them overall, yeah, I'm very, very happy with this purchase. So as you can imagine, I was gutted when the wing went again on this one, and I had to do some ad hoc repair. But yeah, that's my review for Generation 1 Skystalker, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this. This is Gerald Gavin Barry, also known as Wolfgang1, saying I'll be back next week with another review 100, I believe. So do check out for that. I've also got my new series, Panzergeddon, 7 Days to Die Panzergeddon, that has just started. I've got another series of Darkness Falls coming. Star Trek Online playthrough will be coming at some point soon. And Series 4, 7 Days to Die continues. So there's lots going on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Do hope you check back for more future content. Until we see each other again, thank you for watching this and take care. And when tomorrow comes